back today with the letter of the alphabet. It seems like forever that we have done this. But, when the opportunity to talk to some cool people comes up, you kind of got to take it. And we've still explored some great records and have had a lot of fun. But it's just me today, flapping my gums into the microphone, talking about an EP that I truly, truly love and revisit time and time again. It's only 4 songs, but it's still very meaningful and still very impactful, especially with this band's longevity and their career. I'm talking about the Lillingtons. You're listening to P is for Punk, and today P is for Project 313. Project 313, a fun little EP that was released back in the day. It's been a minute since we've really heard anything from the Lillingtons, and it was a minute since anyone heard from the Lillingtons prior to Project 313 being released. Only 4 songs long, but it is something that you want to listen to, especially if you are a fan of the band, in my opinion. So, came out in 2017 on June 9th. 4 songs, 9 minutes long. 9 minutes of punk rock. That's all we're talking about today, which doesn't seem like much to most people, but the power of the EP is definitely present in this. So the Lillingtons have been around for a while. Came out of Wyoming in the mid 90s, kind of had a little bit of a Ramone-esque type of vibes, if you will. And they, I guess, kind of got weird in the good ways. The songwriting on a lot of these songs that you've heard across their discography is so great and so unique. And I just love it. They had some kind of bratty pop punk with their album Shit Out of Luck that came out in 1996. They kind of went into a little more concept driven type of things with their release Death by Television in 1999. They have a lot of sci-fi and pop culture references, which we continue to see. They did break up in 2001 after their album, the Back Channel Broadcast, returned for 2006 for a little bit, and then went mostly silent. And then in 2017, Project 313 had dropped. And it was their first music, or the new music in like 11 years. So the Lillingtons, of course, comprised of Cody Templeton from, you know him from Teenage Bottle Rockets. He sings and plays guitar in Teenage Bottle Rocket, also the singer of the band Sack. And he is such a great songwriter. Really does a lot of great stuff. They have other band members named Tim. And there's 2 others that I don't know what their names are. I'm sorry to say. Off the top of my head, I don't quite recall. But Cody's the singer, the guitar player, kind of like the front man of the band. And the Lillingtons, though, are a lot of fun. I had the opportunity to see them live. I don't even know when it was. It had to be, it might have been around 2017, 2018 during the Project 313 days. I got to see them play Project 313, which we'll get to that song in a little bit, which I was pretty pumped about because they had not been playing that on that tour, but they played it at the show at the Frequency in Madison, Wisconsin. I want to say the Gusto opened up for them, and then another local band or a local-ish band called the Moguls opened up for the show as well. The Gusto, of course, being Mass Intruder without the masks, essentially. Same dudes, different vibes, but we're not here to talk about them. We're here to talk about the Lillingtons, and we're here to talk about Project 313. So they hadn't released any new music. I think they were on record along the way saying they felt like a little bit of a cover band version of themselves. They've been playing the same stuff kind of over and over again. They needed something new to add to the arsenal when it came to their live shows, and they had to come to a choice. Say, are we going to release new stuff, or are we just going to be done and call it a day? So that's where this comes in. Project 313, a beautiful, wonderful EP, opening with the song Until the Sun Shines, which it has a groovy little guitar licks to it. It's got some like lighthearted type of sound a little bit. It's pop punky. It's kind of, but then like the lyrics talk about things that are not going well. It's melodic, it's upbeat, but it's kind of sounds like a little bit of a seasonal depression, I guess you could say. And it could be a metaphor for some sort of mental stagnation or just like being drained until the sun shines, until the day breaks. It's yeah, it's a relatable song. We all kind of get in the blues a little bit, especially around this time. You know, it's April, the end of April right now when this is being recorded, and summer is on upon us. A lot of people just looking for that. They've been working hard. It's been a bit of a dreary winter. It was a dreary spring, and people are kind of getting down in the blues a little bit. Um, you know, you have the line been dark out far too long. That impacts a lot of people when it's dark all the time. It's got a catchy chorus, until the sunshine, until the day breaks. That's pretty much it. It's a little bit just of a two-liner out there, but it's effective in what they're kind of doing. It's a pretty standard kind of composition, verse, chorus. It's tight. It kind of has the little bit of the Ramon core efficiency or legacy of it. It's not a frantic song. It's not like, you know, they're like going deep into this like depression or anxiety or anything like that. It's just it's very kind of controlled, if you will, in there and how they execute the song. Just kind of waiting for better days. Aren't we all just waiting for better days? Times be tough, especially in 2026. This was written in 2011, and times still be tough, which is a bit of a bummer. You know, time's always dragging at times of where it's dark, where it's dreary. Nothing's really changing. There's no fixes going on. You're just waiting and waiting and waiting. And that's kind of like the trap a little bit. So it's a summer anthem, if you will. It's a longing for summer, at least from my interpretation of it. I could be wrong. Pretty catchy song. You can sing along to it. And I think like their contrast between the upbeat kind of guitar sound and the lyrics are a great combination. And you see that in a lot of music. You know, some of the most sad songs in the world are disguised as upbeat and fun. Look at Hey Ya from Outcast, for crying out loud. You know, that's a sad song, but it's a lot of fun to listen to, and it sounds really good, and people are pumped about it. And I think Until the Sunshine does a great job on that. And then it moves into the song Rubber Room, which I really enjoy this song. It's catchy. It's got sing along aspects of it, and you know it's kind of it's faster than the opening track. It has this repetition to it that's very like in the punk vibes, where simple lyrics but effective lyrics. You have this more aggressive kind of tone in the guitar a little bit. Doesn't have a lot of like dynamic contrast to it. There's not a lot of like breathing room in there either. But essentially, when you're in a rubber room, it's just about being in an insane asylum. You're in the room, you got the straitjacket on, jumping off the walls, going a little bit nuts. But it also talks about kind of embracing the insanity a little bit. You have the rubber room becomes your home a little bit. It becomes this escape from reality, and it's kind of rejecting the outside world because things are crazier out there than they are in my head than they are in this room, the rubber room. Be kind of fun to go like bounce off the walls a little bit. I think, don't you? Probably not. It's more not being fear, not having this fear of being put away into like a room outside of the world. It's really just like embracing the comfort of not being from reality. We all need a break from reality a little bit. Most of us find different coping mechanisms to do that, whether it's going on a long run, whether it's going on a little bit of a bender every once in a while, whatever it may be. And it's we're all burning out. So this is again a little bit of the theme of the burnout theme that we got from the first track as well. But this really is a fun song, and would be a good one to see live, and you could just sing along and have just the best of times, really. And then it goes into the title track, Project 313. It opens with just a little bit of palm muted guitar strumming, and then you get a cool little bass lick at the beginning. It doesn't last very long. It's like, I don't know, less than 10 seconds long. And then Cody comes in with the lyrics. It's Project 313 on a rocket they sent me. And this, of course, this is probably like the biggest anthem on the EP of the 4 songs that we're going to talk about. And it has gang vocals on there, which is always nice. The melody on this and just like the harmonizing is so beautiful. Like we get to a point where he's getting to the chorus of I've been out here all along or all alone. And then you get the backing vocals of just these or whatever. And it's, oh dude, I love it so much. It's so simple, but it just like really helps capture the song even more and make it so good. Um, you have this like atmospheric type of feel to it. It's a simple song. It's a simple structure, I would say. I mean, I don't know how to play it by any means. I'm not musically inclined as far as playing it. But it still has a little bit of it's still unique. It might seem like a simple structure, but it still does really good. And I guess when you are looking into the lyrics, Project 313, person's out in outer space all by himself. There's this sci-fi vibe to it, and he's writing letters he can't send. ET is his best friend. And then one of the lines is, looks like we truly die alone. And it's just it gets you thinking a little bit. I don't know if there's like a kind of another like type of meaning to Project 313. I'm sure there is. But yeah, to me, when I'm thinking about it, it's just like being disconnected from the world and being isolated a little bit. It could be just like the metaphor of being lost in space and like, oh yeah, that dude's head's in outer space. He's never in grasp with reality. And it could just be like that metaphor, and people are just truly disconnected from reality, and they're maybe not physically out here all alone. There's people around them, but maybe there's no support system. Maybe they don't look at the television. There's no stimulation there. There's no contact with people. There's no like you're kind of like just like drifting away a little bit. Um, Project 313 is also a movie, an independent drama film from 2005 set in Detroit, where 2 friends get in trouble after a botched robbery. So I don't think that has anything to do with it. That's really all I can see when I look up Project 313 as far as like additional references out there. But it's really, it's not panicking about your situation. It's more or less just being alone, being in your head, not knowing what's going on in the world, not having any connection with anybody, and just drifting through space or drifting through life, if you will, which kind of makes it pretty sad. But again, the way it's sang and the way it's composed, just it's just brilliant work. It really is. I truly love this song. It is one of my favorite Lillington song of all time. I was super pumped when they played it live at the Frequency because I had been looking at their set list um to prior shows, and they played it, which was awesome. At the time, I was working third shift, so I never slept. So I was super tired at the show. Well, that really hyped me up when they played that. So I was pretty pumped. I don't know if I'll really get another chance to see them again. I hope so. They haven't really done much afterwards, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But back to like kind of like Project 313. I guess if you want to put it in a way of like modern technology, you could think of it with a social media type of lens where you're kind of burnt out on that a little bit, and you have loneliness in these connected spaces. You're plugged in, but you're just emotionally like emotionally drained, emotionally empty, and not vibing with stuff. So this is a very like Lillington-esque song. This is a very Cody Templeton-esque song that he really explores a lot of different things when he's writing songs, and it's so impressive. Such a great songwriter. So there you go. Pretty deep look at that one. And the final track on this EP is It's On, which is a very different vibe altogether. It opens up with just a little guitar picking a little bit, and then you hear this classic rock and roll scream. A very like different tonal shift here, and it's just that classic. I think like Poison or Axl Rose before his voice went to complete and utter trash, and you got that high pitched yeah, that's just being screamed at you in like true rock and roll fashion, and that really is what draws you in. You're like, holy crap, this is different. This sounds way kind of like more like rock and rolly. It's a driving song, a little heavier, even though the tempo is kind of familiar, kind of consistent with what we've seen in these last three songs. But it has a little more distortion to it on the guitar sound. It has less of the melodic emphasis on it, and it's just like this song about danger, this song about lust, this song about temptation, and it's like this is like now like here's where the action starts. It's it's not self-destructive, it's not like reckless or anything like that. It's like I want to do her. Oh yeah, it's on. It's interesting. It's fun. It's very different than every song out there. So you have this like kind of like this kind of like concept, if you will, across the four tracks. You have Until the Sun Shines. We're bummed. We're not feeling great about ourselves. We're a little numb. We're waiting for something good to happen. You get Rubber Room, comfort in being alone, comfort in being isolated, comfort in being removed from reality. You get a little bit of a mental break here. And then you go to Project 313, where you are completely isolated, in space, whatever that means, and you're not connected by any means. And you're just battling that a little bit. And then it kind of goes into this boom. I'm going to make these choices and I'm going to do things and have fun on this ride down, perhaps. It really is like a great format and a great structure of an EP. It's effective in what it is, because when you have an EP, you're getting three or four, maybe five songs to do the work of an album with less time, in 9 minutes. 4 songs, 9 minutes. You're being taken on this just wild ride. And that just shows you the power of the Lillingtons and the power of how they construct songs and form all these crazy ideas. They're different in their own regards, but they blend together and really create this great piece of art that I really dig, and I don't think it's easy to do. I think it's really quite the challenge actually to try to effectively pull that off. If you have 10 or 12 songs, you can work through those kind of concepts and work through those themes a little bit more in depth. Well, they did it in 9 minutes and they hit it in a great, an absolutely great way. So it definitely feels heavier overall than their older stuff that they had released prior to this. They still have the Ramon homage, if you will. But this really wasn't just like a comeback EP. It was in a sense that it was the first new music out in over a decade, but it was because they wanted to maintain their legacy and keep that legacy going. They didn't want to just be an old version of themselves. So you think they started back in the mid 90s, they had their first album out in 96. This is 2011. Some time has passed and they are not the same people that they once were. They grew up a little bit. Maybe they got a little bit darker, but they still kind of held on to their roots a little bit. And they just probably made the four like most catchy and just fun pop punk songs about losing your mind that you could possibly think. I'm sure there's other versions and other songs that capture that as well. Well, they did it super effectively in this, and I'm super pumped to have been able to see them and still enjoy this a lot. What came after Project 313? Let's talk about the artwork first. Actually, the artwork is very simple. There's nothing wild or crazy about it. It is the Lillingtons on there. It has the Ramon style, kind of the Ramon circle. So O'Hara, Lawrence, Valenino, and Templeman. I think I was saying Templeton. Templeman is what I meant to say. Whoops. Sorry, Cody, if you're listening to this. And it has a little bit of a space vibe to it. There's a planet on it, black and gray. It's pretty straightforward, but it's pretty awesome. And I think it kind of fits the vibe a little bit, kind of fits the theme, black and gray. That's kind of what you're getting here, getting some gray area type of material. And it's beautiful. It was put out by Red Scare. Good old Red Scare. We love Toby Jag. We love all the stuff that Red Scare has released. They really don't miss, which is pretty sweet. And then what kind of came after from Project 313, they did release a full length album in 2016 or 2017, I should say, later in 2017, on Fat Wreck. So they signed a Fat Wreck and they dropped Stella. Is it Sapiente? I don't even know how to say it. My apologies to that. But this is kind of a little bit of expansion, I guess, from what they've covered in their Project 313 EP. More like layered songwriting, darker kind of vibes. Still really good. And it's just awesome. So Project 313 and EPs matter a lot in a band's career. I think if you have a band that can't put out a solid EP, work on 4 or 5 songs or maybe less songs and create something awesome, I don't know. I lose a little bit of respect for that because you got to have the EP. The power of the EP is just amazing. And it kept them going again. They released a new record, and I mean they haven't released any music since. They haven't released any like new stuff since, from my understanding. And Teenage Battle Rocket continues to thrive. We got a new Sack album since then. featuring Cody as well. I think I think Teenage Bottle Rocket's kind of like a little more popular in the now, but the Lillingtons are still really popular. People still love them, and they're very important. You get the '90s kind of vibes. You get the new stuff that's more current, that's darker. We like the dark, right? We're kind of like Bane and Batman. We were born in the dark, or whatever he says. I don't know. But it's touching on areas that a lot of people can relate to, and a lot of people um, can enjoy. And again, it just leaves you thinking, I'm not alone. I'm in this with other people. So it's solid. So the Lillingtons, thank you for putting together a 4-song EP, making it beautiful, and just doing this work. Hopefully we get some more tunes from them one day. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I think people have things going on. People have families. People have kids. People have other projects and life going on. So it's just hard to balance it all. Nothing wrong with that. We'll see what happens in the future, where they go record company wise. Fat Records is kind of exists, kind of doesn't. I guess we'll kind of see what goes down. So that's Project 313 from the Lillingtons. This is P is for Punk. Hit me up on all the socials. You can just find me at P is for Punk on Instagram, and you can go to linktr.ee/P is for Punk, and that will bring you to the links of kind of where I got stuff. Got some merch, bring you to the Spotify and all that razzle dazzle, if you will. I appreciate all the supports. I appreciate the people who have hopped on the show. It's been more than I anticipated would happen, and I'm super grateful for it. You can also hang out with me Monday through Friday from 2 to 7 p.m. on WTCX 95.1 or 96.1 if you are in the Fox Valley in Wisconsin. You can listen to this more radio rock. Talk about some fun stuff, dude. We plug the punk stuff when I can. Love the radio stuff, obviously. It's kind of my jam. I enjoy it. So you can support me that way as well. You can also follow my, I guess you could call it a DJ page at DJ Dadbod _WY. If you have a band, if you have an album that you would like to talk about and break down with me, always hit me up. I'm definitely open to having whoever I can on here to talk music and to just really keep things going. So I appreciate you. Look forward to catching up with you again. We have another great episode coming out with a dude who does some really cool stuff for some kids. So I'm really pumped about that. So be on the lookout for that episode coming out very soon as well. All right. See you later.